Welcome to our chess opening series. Today, we dive into one of the most legendary openings ever played, the Ruy Lopez. Played by world champions and elite grandmasters for centuries. In this video, we'll explore the main ideas of the Ruy Lopez and dive into its most important variations, including both classical and modern defenses. Let's start and discover why the Ruy Lopez remains one of the strongest and most popular openings in chess. After pawn e4 pawn e5, both sides take control of the center. With knight f3, white develops a piece and immediately attacks the e5 pawn. Black responds with knight c6, defending the pawn and developing naturally. Now comes bishop b5, pinning the knight on c6 and increasing pressure on the center. This move officially introduces the Ruy Lopez, also known as the Spanish opening. From this position, many different paths are possible. Let's kick off with the Morphy defense, pawn a6, which is the most popular Ruy Lopez reply. After bishop a4 knight f6, the game explodes into many exciting branches. We'll start with the closed Ruy Lopez, diving into the Shiguran defense. White castles with kingside castling, securing the king, and black develops safely with bishop e7. White continues with rook e1, preparing central expansion, while black pushes pawn b5, gaining space on the queenside and forcing the bishop back to bishop b3. Black solidifies the center with pawn d6, and white plays pawn c3, preparing pawn d4 to challenge the center. Both sides complete development with kingside castling, and white plays pawn h3, preventing any bishop or knight pins on g4. Now comes the hallmark of the Shiguran defense, knight a5, attacking the bishop on b3. The knight aims to gain active play and counterattack opportunities, while the bishop must decide its best square, setting the stage for dynamic middle game play. Black plays the signature knight b8, retreating the knight to reroute it to d7, a bold but brilliant idea. White strikes with pawn d4, and black follows with knight d7, completing the plan. The Briar defense is all about flexibility, solid setup, and deep positional play, a true maneuvering masterpiece. Black develops the bishop with bishop b7, a hallmark of the Zaitsev defense, aiming for active piece play. White strikes with pawn d4, and black responds with rook e8 and bishop f8, completing a solid, flexible setup. After pawn a4 pawn h6, black is ready for a deep positional battle, with the bishop pair and knights coordinating for counterplay in the center and on the queenside. White retreats with bishop c2, keeping the bishop on the long diagonal, and black responds with pawn g6, a typical Karpov setup, reinforcing the kingside and preparing a flexible, solid structure. Black grabs the pawn with knight e4, launching the open Ruy Lopez and immediately opening the center. After pawn d4, black pushes pawn b5 and strikes back with pawn d5, leading to sharp play. White captures with pawn dxe5, and black responds with bishop e6 and bishop c5, putting pressure on the center and kingside. With pawn c3, knight d2, and kingside castling, both sides race to complete development in a highly tactical and dynamic position. Black strikes with pawn d5, the legendary martial attack. After pawn exd5, black keeps the initiative with knight d5, and the tactics explode with knight e5 knight e5. White grabs material with rook e5, but black hits back hard with pawn c6 and bishop d6, activating all pieces and opening deadly lines toward the king. The martial attack is a classic pawn sacrifice for speed, activity, and a fierce kingside attack, one of the most dangerous weapons against the Ruy Lopez.